Claude released a skill to see if you're being underpaid. In this video, we are going to go through setup and how you can install that skill. Also, you're going to get a report just like this one to see where your salary sits against the broader market. If you are being underpaid, Claude is also going to give you a recommendation on what salary you should shoot for based off of market averages and your experience. Let's get set up. You are going to need either a free or paid plan of Claude. Depending on which one you have, the setup is a little bit different. If you have a paid plan, this is how you can install the skill. If you hit this plus icon here and hover over plugins, go to Browse Plugins. If you've never been in this directory before, this is a place where you can find different plugins or skills that are created from Anthropic. We are going to search for the Human Resources plugin. I'm going to hit this icon here, and this should be your screen. Now, what this plugin does is it gives us a bundle of skills. So as you see here, we have the comp analysis skill, which we're going to be using for this video. Now, the thing is, if you have a free plan of Claude, you have access to skills, but you don't have access to plugins. So what you're going to have to do is download the skill file separately. What I've done is if you click on the link down below in the description, I have uploaded the skill file for you to download here. So all you need to do is click on this, hit download, and then once you have that skill file downloaded, then you come to this plus icon, come to skills, go to manage skills, hit add, and all you need to do is hit upload a skill and then click on the skill that you downloaded that I linked down below in the description. Once you have that, then you might need to restart your Claude. Now you have access to the comp analysis skill, which is what we're going to be using in this video. That is all for setup, so let's actually use it. Now that we have the skill installed, all you need to do to activate it is hit backslash and type in comp analysis. If you've never used a skill before, a skill is essentially just a standard operating procedure. It is a topic I could spend a lot of time on, but if you're interested in learning, I'll link a video down below where I talk all about skills. But for this video, let's just focus on how to use this comp analysis skill to see if we're being underpaid. Now, what we're going to do is type in /comp analysis. And what I would recommend is add your title, your salary, and what area you work in. So I'm going to do a hypothetical scenario where I am a senior accountant living in Chicago, and my pay is $90,000 a year. Also, if you're familiar with the accounting field, they have different certifications. So the most important certification for accountants is called CPA. So I'm going to say I have a CPA. Claude is going to do something really cool. Think about if you wanted to do this task yourself, what you would do is you would do exactly what Claude is doing right now. You would search through dozens of different websites reporting on the salary of accountants in Chicago. And then you would take all of the data from those sources and then cross-reference them to see what matches and what the averages are. That's exactly what Claude did here. Claude just finished, and it gave us an entire report of if we're being underpaid, where our salary sits based off of the averages in the markets. Now, we can either go through everything Claude has just returned us, but I don't know about you guys. I personally just hate going through walls of text like this. I like when things are visualized. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, we looked at a whole report that gave us charts and tables, and honestly, it was just nicer to look at. So for this next part of the video, we're going to take this report that Claude gave us and turn it into that dashboard that we looked at the beginning of this video. So if you are solely interested in learning just how to use this comp analysis skill to see if you're being underpaid, you can honestly just end the video here because that's all you need to know. If you're interested in turning this report into sort of a nicer to look at dashboard, then that's what we're going to be doing next. And honestly, it's a pretty useful skill to learn in Claude of how to do this. So I would recommend it. But if you solely just want to see if you're being underpaid or not, then you can end the video here. because if you were following along with your own job information, then you should have that report done on your end. To turn this report into that dashboard, I'm just going to add this prompt into Claude. And if you're interested in using this prompt as well, I can make sure that's down below in the description. All I'm going to say is redesign as a bento dashboard, varied card sizes, one featured card up top, smaller cards with stats and mini charts, with a 1990s magazine, and I will add a feel or style. I'm going to hit enter. What Claude is going to do is it's going to turn this report that it gave us surrounding this analysis of our compensation and then turn that into a dashboard. For me, I just think dashboards are easier to look at and the information is nicer to digest. So I always like taking this step sometimes. I'm going to let Claude run for a few minutes because this will maybe take like 3 to 5 minutes. Once it's finished, let's see what the report looks like, and then let's actually go through everything that it gave us because I think there are some really interesting parts of the report. Claude has finished, and honestly, I really like our report. So let's take a look at it. I am going to pop this out of the chat. So I'm just going to hit this button here. All right. Let's look at the different sections of this report and see what the verdict is. Right off the bat, unfortunately, it looks like we sit on the 34th percentile of the market average. And so we are 100% getting underpaid. Our salary is $90,000, and we are $9,000 below the market median. So that is not good. If I scroll down, I really like the different cards that Claude generated here, giving me more detailed information on the data that it researched. Here we have I really like this. What we have is what is called a source spread. And this basically takes a look at a high level of all of the different places that Claude researched and then put that here for us so that we can see of all the different sources and websites, what figures or ranges did they report. And then we can take the information from all of those sources and then make our own judgment call on what we feel like a reasonable medium is. So that is really nice. And also, I really love how they visualized it. I hope now you are starting to see why I like, visualizing things and taking that extra step in Claude when I could have just stopped at the report that it gave us. But honestly, I like doing this because it looks so much better. If I scroll down, this part is also really interesting too, which is if you remember when I was initially typing the prompt, CPA is an important certification for accountants. So I wanted to make sure that Claude knew in this hypothetical scenario, hey, I'm an accountant and I am licensed with my CPA. And here you get to see the differences in compensation for someone that has their CPA versus doesn't. So always, always, always give Claude more context than you think it needs because it helps give it a more impactful output for what it creates for you. This next section, 4 things that move this number, is 90K your total comp, years of experience, industry matters, your leverage is real right now. Okay, so these first 2 points are good. So basically, these first 2 points are indicating that I maybe was a little bit vague with the information I gave Claude. And it's funny because I literally just said to you guys, give as much context as you can. So I should have added if there are any additional figures to my comp, for example, like bonuses or stock. I also should have added how many years of experience I had. So that was a great reminder that I can always and should always be adding more. And at the very bottom, and this is the part that we talked about at the beginning of the video, which I like, is here it recommends us a move. And we should ask for a salary bump of something in this range. The reason for that is because if you work in the corporate world, market averages and the market median is one of the strongest levers and strongest arguments you have to go to HR or go to your boss and get a raise from. Because if the market is offering this much as an average salary, then you have objective information that, hey, I am legitimately being underpaid because here are all the resources that I use to research these figures. And if I average them all together, this is the market median, and I am significantly below that. So in this case, I am quite literally in the 34th percentile of the markets, which is not good, not good at all. That's all for this video. I hope this was genuinely helpful for you, and I definitely encourage you to look at all of the other skills that are created from Anthropic. And if you actually run this report and you find out you are being underpaid, I genuinely hope that you make a case for yourself to get paid what you are actually worth, especially in this economy. With that all being said, my name is Timothy. I work in AI product at a Fortune 500 company. If you're interested in learning Claude or Claude Cowork, I just want to let you know I have a completely free community on Claude Cowork where I have a beginner's course on Claude Cowork. And also, just want to let you know, I run in-person workshops, and the Claude course that I take you through in school or my community is the same workshop that I do in person, just digitally. If that interests you, I hope I see you in there. Thanks so much for watching.